Hey everybody, hope everybody is doing well. Well, I wanted to take this time with the limited time I have today to talk about the passing of Sheldon Adelson. Now, if you don't know who Sheldon Adelson is, he is the guy that ran Las Vegas Sands, and this is the individual that also was a huge mega donor to the GOP. Now, on this channel, I am really not a fan of mega donors from either party, and certainly they played a significant role in the last several elections. It is important to know that Las Vegas Sands ran the Venetian and the Palazzo. These were two remarkable hotels, as along with the Sand Convention Center, in addition to the MSG Sphere that is currently under construction. And so what he basically did, he's bought up the Sands Hotel, imploded it, replaced it, and he was certainly, as a donor, he gave us a lot of politicians, many of whom disproportionately were so-called rhinos. Of course, if you look at the campaign donors of Heller and Sandoval, you see what I'm talking about. Now, one of the reasons why I don't trust him is because he has had a lot of ties, as well as Democrats too. Harry Reid, Sisolak, a lot of these other people. This is one of the reasons why I don't really believe a whole lot that party composition really makes a huge difference in our state, because they are really backed by similar interests, similar unions, real estate sector, Wall Street, etc. All right, the only way that things will really change is if the people were to rise up in a bipartisan fashion and dismantle this entire system. And speaking of the Venetian and the Palazzo, the last time I was there, I didn't have a really good experience there. I'll tell you about that in a future video. So this is the thing. And by the way, Sheldon Adelson was the guy who also was a total pro-Israel individual. And a lot of people are not a fan of Israel. Now, I have heard a lot of negative and horrible things about Israel, and I've heard great things about Israel, but I am just not a fan of foreign lobbyists, and I'm certainly not too crazy about the fact that we send them billions of dollars every year. So I believe in American sovereignty. So this is the thing that you got to keep in mind. And the fact that he's passing away, the fact that, well, there are rumors that he's going to be, or the company is going to be selling their properties. Wynn has resigned, Murin has resigned, a lot of these things. We're really beginning to see a new era of Las Vegas. Now, going to the aspect of control, there has been recently breaking news that Assemblymember Alexander Assefa, which I've actually met in person, and I have videos of him which I will show you very, very soon. He just resigned. So it was residency concerns, it was misuse of campaign money, and this is the really, really sad thing, because the question is, how does he get reelected? Well, first of all, the opposite side doesn't really fight back hard enough, and not to mention the fact that they have a lot of campaign donors, considering the fact that he lives in an area, he himself is largely Ethiopian, and of course this is the issue with mass immigration and identity politics, is people just vote for how they look. They don't really vote based on who they are, what they will do, and now as a result of that you get all these scandalous scum politicians. And one of the reasons why you do have a large Ethiopian population is because of the casinos, the cabs, the limos that like to hire them. Ironically, they say, oh, well, blacks are being oppressed in America, but yet we have blacks that are still moving into this country from all over the world. And not to mention Ethiopia, I believe, was a country that wasn't even colonized. So as a result, there you go. These politicians are coming along, their scandals, everything. And yet what makes you think that if these politicians are not so true, that our elections are true? And what makes you think that these politicians who won through election rigging, based on the information we have, what makes you think that there's not going to be more scandals? And when they come up, it's going to be like, well, it makes us think twice that whether or not the election we just had was definitely rigged or not. And why don't the people fight back? This is the other thing. Why don't people, demand that this system to be dismantled? So I guess today has been a really interesting day for Las Vegas, I can tell you that. So If you like this video, please share, please subscribe. I will have more updates to come. Man, I think things for the next 2 to 5 years is going to get really wobbly for the area. And then hopefully after that, we will have to see. We can have hopefully a renaissance coming in the preceding times.